Let me go to Andrew. Been waiting a long time. Andrew, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How you doing, Jesse?
All is well, Andrew.
Oh, man, talk to me, man. I'd like to add to the question.
The biblical question.
Yeah, let's do a biblical question.
Do you know any unfortunate or disadvantaged people?
Well, listen, Jesse, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I was waiting a while on the phone, right?
Right.
And, I saw your video that you guys posted yesterday about the Valley of the Shadow and Death.
Right.
And I spoke to you briefly for like 20 seconds, like last week, but then, but you guys had to go because I was just waiting forever. But what I wanted to tell you, this is really how the sons of the Father all communicate. And we're all literally in synchronicity if we're with the Father. Because last week I was going to actually
Are you referring to the biblical question right now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
But okay, so I will say in regards to unfortunate, right?
Let me ask: do you know any unfortunate or disadvantaged people?
So when I study scripture, I go into the etymology of the word, and I'm on the 1611 King James Bible definition. And previously, I would have said, I don't know any unfortunate people, but unfortunate comes under the definition of evil. So
what's the etymology?
Etymology, or just I just like to get the actual definition for the words, because I think when this was made, we interpreted the words a little bit differently, and so I'd always like to try to get a clear understanding of the actual words.
Oh, so when you read the Bible, you look up the definitions of the word.
If it's a word that that I do not have understanding of,
right?
But since I was on hold for so long, and since I know you have the mind of God, I just want to be as truthful in the information as possible. You understand what I mean?
And so when you look the word up, when you read the Bible, and then you get to a word that you don't understand, you look up the meaning of that word. And do you get understanding then?
Correct. Yeah, I do. If I will go to the 1611, and if it doesn't make sense, then I'll actually go to BibleHub.com, and then they give you the Greek and Latin original words, and they give you the Hebrew, because all of this stuff was originally translated from the Hebrew language. So I really try to do my best.
And how do you get understanding from that? How can you get understanding by looking up the definition of a word?
Well, for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. I've already been through the valley, and so I've already had my second birth.
No, I'm asking you, how can you get the understanding by looking up the definition of a word? How do you get understanding from that? I'm not saying that you don't or you can't. I'm just wondering, how do you get understanding from looking up the definition of a word?
I think it's just a little bit more information, which is that's a great question. Understand? How can I get understanding from looking up a word?
Yeah.
How can I get understanding from looking up a word? Well, I didn't make the language, and so if there's a word which like, let's just say the word cat. If you look up the word cat, it's going to be a tiny little paragraph which briefly gives you a little bit more clarity on what the word is supposed to represent.
Right.
So when I take this definition, I don't listen to the definition. I just allow the information that I've compiled to process a little bit more through my heart. So sometimes I just need a little bit more information. If that brings some type of clarity.
And from that, you get understanding?
I like to try to think so, yes.
And why?
Why? Because I think it's all code.
What's all code?
Everything. Everything, man. But I just
what
think
do you mean by it? It's all code.
It's I just think that
so
the Bible
you saying
is a
that,
very beautiful book that
I just got a
designed
text from
for
a good
us to grow our consciousness.
So what now?
I'm sorry?
What'd you say?
I truly believe that the Bible is for all of us to... Jesse, I'm going to be honest with you, man. If you come back, and if you've been blessed to come back and have understanding and remember, I believe that the Bible is very important for you to study because it will allow you to understand his story. And when you understand his story, you could try to be your very best version and fix anything that has previously been undone.
And how do you do? Let me just say this first. A friend of mine just texted me. He said that you are saying that you get, referring to you and how you look up words. He said that you're saying, so I can understand. He said that you're saying you get the understanding of the words, not understanding the Bible. Is that right?
No, I think no, I don't think that that's right. I think that there's so much false teaching, false doctrine, and just so much misinformation in the valley of shadow and death that it's very important to if you have an activated heart to sync up that heart with a mind of knowledge and wisdom to clearly understand as much as you can for whatever it is that you're studying, doing in this particular life, in this particular side of heaven.
But you can't get understanding that way at all. You would never get understanding from thinking about it.
Oh, interesting. You might be very right.
No, 100% right.
Maybe I'm very blessed. I think maybe I'm very blessed to I think the Father has taken a liking to me then, if that is the case. But
you're never going to get understanding by looking up a word. You'll get intellectual knowledge of that word, and then Satan makes you think you have understanding from it. But understanding only comes from God and no other source. And you can't get understanding by looking up a word.
Oh, no, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that.
But you just said you do get the etymology from it. And so if you do understand that, why do you look up words then? And I'm just asking.
No. I think I think for me, upon my journey, it's very important for me to gain as much knowledge as possible. That way, I have an overstanding.
You have an
An overstanding.
What does that mean?
An overstanding is like kind of like the way the English language works. So, for example, since we're going so much into this right now, when I said understanding, right? But everything about English, when you really have the mind of the Father, English is very double speak. Everything in the English language can be taken and perceived in in a positive or negative light.
Let me just say that because I don't understand what you're talking about now, but I do want to tell you that you don't want to seek knowledge. You don't want to get as much knowledge as you can. You want to get wisdom, and when you seek knowledge, you're not going to find wisdom. You want understanding You don't want knowledge because people who have all this knowledge, they're dumb. They're emotional.
I agree.
They
I
have
agree.
fear. So
I
why,
agree
if you agree to that,
100%.
why are you seeking so much knowledge?
Because I only do this when it comes to the Bible and me studying Scripture.
But you're not
And
even supposed to study and seek knowledge in the Bible either. All it does is feed the intellect.
Then maybe I should stop doing that a bit. I got to be honest with you. I agree with what you're saying completely. And
You're supposed to overcome.
I 100%
You're supposed to.
agree with
You're supposed to overcome words, but in seeking all this knowledge, you succumb to words, and you'll be destroyed by words.
No, I 100% agree with you, Jesse.
Why do you agree with that?
Because everything you're saying is the truth. And I got to be honest with you, from you clearly saying what you said, I think the only reason why I do what I do when it comes to the studying is because, unfortunately, I have a wife and a family which is very religious, which is not like me, and because I don't think that they have connection with the Father at all.
You say you have a wife like that?
Yes.
And
yes.
so your wife told you to seek the word, seek knowledge.
No. I do whatever the hell I want.
But I don't. You said that the reason you do that because you have a wife. How is that?
Oh well, it's because when we argue, Scripture gets thrown at me, and so I try to just have the armor of God and just try to have more wisdom of the book than she does, because the number one thing that people that live in fear, whenever any of their emotions are tested, the first thing all religious people do is throw the Bible at you.
And so your wife is a Bible thumper. She throwed a lot of. It sounds like she's throwing a lot of Bible words on you, and so you're gathering all this Bible knowledge so you can throw it back on her.
Yeah, more or less.
That's insane.
Sorry. Hey, well, listen, man. You just this little interaction right here really checked me, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, because when you're doing that, all you have are two devils.
Fire with fire. No, I
just
get it.
two devils fighting. If you notice, the Christians who are into the Bible, they know the word. They're nutty as a fruitcake.
That's a fact. That's a 100%.
So why would you take that game on and fight your wife with that? That's not helping her, nor is it helping you.
That's a fact. That is a 100% fact. So, Jesse, my question is this. If I have a wife that is like this, which tests me, and you know how you say, like, when somebody is not of the Spirit, when you ask them a simple yes or no question like you do to every single person you interview, and since they have so much ego and just a delusion, they go on for 5 minutes rather than just giving you a simple yes or no. What can I do, my brother, to check my wife when she gets on some nonsense?
Nothing.
Nothing. Just
Nothing.
leave.
Let her suffer. You tell her that she got to overcome words and overcome anger and fear, and if she doesn't want to do it, just let her suffer until she's ready. It shouldn't affect you at all because you are your world, and don't resent her, don't be angry, don't try to prove anything, don't argue with her. You argue with the devil.
This is a fact, man.
So cut it out.
Thank you, Jesse. I will. I'll take your advice. I really will.
Yeah, because she's on an ego trip with the word, and when you're fighting back with her, you're on an ego trip with the word, and and the devil is celebrating. That's all.
Yep, that's a fact. Jesse, I got one more question. How for you? I got actually two. When did you did you go through your hell, and when did you meet the Father? At what age? And also, how is it possible for you to find fellowship with other men that know the Father? Do you feel that you manifest other people that know the Father very easily?
I don't have nothing to do with it at all. I'm just living my life.
I see.
And I'm letting life happen now, and whatever happens. I have nothing to do with it, so I don't even consider any of those things. I don't think about those things at all.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Are
okay,
you doing
so
the silent prayer every morning, every night?
I do.
Every morning, every night.
Yes, sir.
Stay with that, and then during the day, when you get into all those thoughts about your wife and about the Bible and all that, just come back to your body, bring your mind back to your body, and things will be worked out for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And you can stop the etymology.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
All it's doing is hurting you. It's not helping.
Jesse, I want to thank you for the upload that you did last night. But one more thing I want to say is that I think we should just start calling people dead.
Well, no, you should.
Until they know the Father.
I know, but you should work on you first so you'll be able to see that.
I see. I do see.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I got to run. I appreciate you.
Yo, I appreciate you too, brother. Be good.
All right, you too, man. Amazing.